this is what pain looks like. This is what it looks like. Okay? This is what it looks like. The internet. The constant exploitation and objectification of women is exhausting. It's exhausting. Atrioc for showing it to thousands of people. The people DMing me pictures of myself from that website. You all. This is what it looks like. This is what the pain looks like. Okay?
So that was a clip of a Twitch streamer called QT Cinderella. And apparently, her and quite a few other female streamers have deep fakes of them, of adult content, of basically them just basically who knows what they're doing on those videos, right? Even though it's not them, but basically like deep fakes. Basically, the best way to explain it is that say you're watching a video of a cat. Well, the deep fake is now basically turning that cat with your face on the cat. So you're basically looking like the cat. The problem with these deep fakes is that they're able, depending on the technology and the budget behind them, are able to make it pretty much almost like 95% identical to whatever content creator they're trying to base it off on, which is some pretty crazy stuff. Like we're talking like crazy amounts of like similarities. Like you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. And the issue is if they combine that with the voices of these content creators, you really can't tell the difference if you're not paying attention or if you just don't want to pay attention. And the biggest issue that I see with this like type of stuff is one, a lot of these female streamers or content creators don't get involved in creating like this adult content stuff for personal reasons, maybe moral reasons or whatever, but they're all losing literally millions of dollars, right? They're all losing millions of dollars not doing that content, and you have people creating fake versions of those content creators who are potentially making millions of dollars making fake versions of them and having people like watch it, buy it, download it, and whatnot. And what's crazy, like this is the crazy thing that I see of like saw about this whole thing. You have a male streamer that basically was potentially friends with them, or at the very least knew these other female streamers that watched this stuff, paid for this stuff, and then showed it to his audience of like thousands and thousands of people. It's like you really couldn't have just, I don't know, not had adult content on your computer while you were streaming. Like you could have at least just not done that. And the thing is, like all this stuff existed. Like it still existed. The biggest issue, because of the one guy's massive audience, he literally had thousands of people. Now maybe not on purpose, but like thousands of his audience that was watching his stream, and other people who basically got viral, and people making articles about it and whatnot, all started to basically search for this sort of stuff. Which means that all these deepfake creators started to make way more money, got way more views, all the content basically got exposed all over the place, and now probably all these female streamers are probably getting constantly harassed with just like random people sending them like deep fakes of this stuff, which I mean is a pretty sad thing that that's happening. Like there's not really any reason to go and do that, but the biggest issue is, and I think everyone pretty much understands this kind of like phrase, if it exists, there's adult content of it, right? You could pretty much have like gone to like any like Teen Titans like TV show or like like basically like the what's the best way to put it? Like Cartoon Network shows. Like literally every single Cartoon Network show, every single kids show, every single thing that has ever been created on like TV networks, like main like TV broadcast or anything, there's either been deep fakes or adult content made of those subjects, right? And that's basically with everything. If there's things that get enough attention, there is going to be adult content about it for whatever reason. Like it's just always going to happen. So I think it's sad that this is happening to them, but at the same time, they also kind of like probably knew something like this, something along these lines was going to happen because like the amount of like content about this, about like celebrities, where people fake celebrities with this whole adult content stuff has been going on for ever, right? So it's not that surprising that this would also happen to internet celebrities like Twitch streamers and whatnot. Like it's not that surprising. It sucks, but still not really surprising. So a popular gamer on Twitch has tearfully revealed she is the latest high-profile victim of deepfake adult content, with predators pasting her face into a pre-existing adult video to make it seem she legitimately appeared in the kinky clip. And again, one of the big issues about this is that the thing about like Twitch streamers or live streamers in general, you end up creating like a relationship with that individual. So a lot of their audience members that are donating hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month to them believe that they have this really weird relationship with them, right? It's like it's odd because like they have a bigger connection to the streamer than the streamer does to the audience member. And that gets into a really weird zone because that also brings out people basically falling in love with them. So they end up getting stalkers. So the fact that they're getting stalkers also doesn't mean that like this isn't really that surprising that they would end up having content like this created about them because they're also at the point of that relationship, weird relationship. Like I think the parasocial relationship, I think is what it's called. It's just at that really weird zone where like your audience is so massive now, you've been streaming for so long that you have a bunch of these audience members that believe that they're in love with you or have some sort of relation with you and they want to connect with you even deeper, so they go try to find some sort of content about you, but you decide not to do that sort of stuff because of morals or whatever. But that just basically brings in like this black market side where like, oh, it could be just some like random person in like China or something being like, oh, we got a like nice little product that we could just make that we could just sell for a bunch of money constantly. Because they could just create these fake videos once and resell it over and over and over and over again for the end of time. Like, till the end of time. So QT Cinderella, a 28-year-old American whose real name is Blair, went live on the streaming site last week to lash out at the cyber sickos who made the video, as well as prominent male Twitch star who admitted to buying the deep fake adult content. Well, here's the thing, too, right? Why are you buying this sort of stuff, anyways? There's free stuff out there that you could just look at. The weird thing about that, like this Twitch star, right, is like the same kind of issue that the audience members have when they go and look for that type of content of their favorite Twitch streamer. You have some really weird relationship, like parasocial relationship, with the people that you're watching. It's just, it's a really weird situation. I'm not going to repeat what she said. She then took aim at the gamer Atrioc, the guy who basically leaked it, who had earlier told fans that he purchased two doctored clips featuring other famous female Twitch stars, prompting a spike in traffic to the deep fake adult site. F the effing internet, F Atrioc for showing it to thousands of people, which is a really big issue that he did that. F the people DMing me pictures of myself from that website. F you all. This is what it looks like. This is what the pain looks like. QT Cinderella continued during her emotional live stream. The thing is, I understand her getting like really emotional, sad, pissed off, depressed about this whole situation. But at the same time, to relate this as like real pain, like there's people that end up losing their limbs. There's people who end up getting shot in the head. There's people who literally get beaten by their significant other over and over and over again every single day. So I wouldn't really put that in the same category as like real pain. Definitely a lot of emotional pain, definitely a lot of mental pain, but in terms of like physical pain, not really. So to the person that made that website, I'm going to effing sue you, she vowed. I promise you, with every part of my soul, I'm going to effing sue you. The problem with this now, I don't really know too much about the laws regarding that, but how can you sue someone for not exactly using you, right? They're not using your content, right? And it gets into a really weird situation because if you do end up suing them for faking content by using a deepfake, basically putting your face onto a body of another person who's doing certain actions, wouldn't that get into a situation where pretty much all Twitch streams will be pretty much non-existent at that point because then everything will be copyrighted, right? Everything will be protected and you can't really stream because a lot of what these streamers do, a lot of these Twitch streamers do, specifically Twitch streamers, they just react to other people's content for the most part. So if they end up, well, if she ends up basically suing this deep fake adult content site who's technically making unique content, yes, with her likeness, but at the same time it's all unique, how's that going to play out? Because not only that, couldn't they just say, like, oh, we just use someone that looked like her, right? Because there's also people that look like other people. Like, I don't think, like, if she were to sue them, I don't think she's really going to get anywhere with it. I don't think anyone's really going to get anywhere with that. But I don't know, it'd be kind of interesting to see. But it might backfire. It might be like a double edged sword. So, given the rapid advancement of technology, it's difficult to distinguish deep fake adult content from legitimately filmed videos, adding to the distress experienced by victims who insist they weren't party to the production. Laws have also not kept up with current online activity, meaning it may prove difficult for QT Cinderella to sue the person who created the disturbing doctored video. But again, that's the thing. Like, I don't even understand what would be the legal basis for her to do this to like potentially win anything at all. Tech writer River Page first reported on the Twitch star's deep fake horror. In his essay republished by the Free Press, Page explained that there is a federal revenge adult content law that allows victims of non consensual adult content to file lawsuits against perpetrators, but the law doesn't address deepfakes specifically. That's the thing, right? Do they have any, like, can they prove any damages were done when you, in fact, were not in the video, actively engaged in the video? Like, you weren't doing anything in the video, but your face was in the video, right? Like, it's kind of weird. A federal law should be in place, Page further wrote. Will it stop deepfake adult content? Not completely. Federal law hasn't eliminated the production and distribution of CP either, but the enforcement of those laws has driven the practice to the extreme margins and has attached a heavy cost to participating in the trade. At present, cyber pervs use software involving machine learning or artificial intelligence to create deep fakes with relative ease and with little fear of prosecution. Celebs such as Scarlett Johansson and Emma Watson have been the victims of deepfake adult content, and some sleazebags are charging just $20 to create fabricated videos of exes, co-workers, friends, enemies, and classmates. See, like, that really sucks, right? But how are you going to ever stop it? Robert Chesney from the University of Texas and Daniel Citrin from the University of Maryland have said the damage from being a victim of deep fake adult content can be profound. Victims may feel humiliated and scared, they wrote in a 2019 research paper. When victims discover that they have been used in fake adult content, the psychological damage may be profound, whether or not this was the aim of the creator of the video. And again, I think one of the biggest issues with this sort of stuff, specifically when it comes down to like these massive streamers, like these massive female streamers, a lot of these massive female streamers have stalkers right now that they've posted about in the past. And some of them have multiple stalkers, right? To the point where they have to hire security. And this becomes like a really big issue because someone could just pretend to be them, send them videos of them engaging in these acts to these stalkers, and these stalkers are going to basically fall more in love with them, or maybe potentially enraged because they're not doing anything with the streamer or whatever, and maybe they're going to go do something, right? To like take it out. It's like, oh, you betrayed my love, whatever nonsense kind of thing. Like that could become like a real issue. So it's just weird because like I don't even know how you would even potentially stop something like this. So the damage appears to be obvious, QT Cinderella, but some on social media have expressed little sympathy. Let's see, I don't get the big deal at all. Like, there could be terabytes of photoshopped adult content of me, and I wouldn't care because I'm not actually experiencing those scenarios being depicted. It's literally not real. One Twitter user wrote. I get being upset, but if you're crying over people putting your face on an adult star, then maybe you're too soft for the internet. It's wild out here, another declared. I understand these people's comments, but at the same time, the issue specifically with these streamers is they do have like potential dangers with this, right? Like imagine someone was like catfishing someone, but they were using your face to do it. And the person that they were catfishing basically came to your actual house and actually like committed harm to you or whatever, right? It gets into a really weird situation, a really bad situation potentially. Like that's the thing. Like the biggest issue is that they have an extremely strong connection with their audience members, and some of those audience members are not mentally there and will potentially do something potentially very violent. Let's see some of these comments. Influencers want fame, and with that fame, this can happen. That is also true, right? You want to be an influencer, you want to be more popular, things like this can potentially happen. Let's see. I now identify as invisible, although I was born visible. I am now transparent. My pronouns are who, where. Who, what, where, plus. Pay attention, all you so called influencers. When you chose to bathe in the limelight, there's no stepping out. Nobody knows who she is, so no harm, no foul. I think like normal people pretty much don't know, but if you spend basically any amount of time online, you're probably going to just stumble upon one of these streamers just randomly. It's also crazy too. Like I always find the whole like Twitch streamer thing or like streamer thing kind of like interesting and kind of odd at the same time. Because like just think about it like this too. For those that end up listening to this, imagine like because I saw this on a video before of like a recorded live stream where this guy was playing League of Legends. Yeah. No, not League of Legends. He was playing I think a game called StarCraft, and in 3 minutes, because I actually counted, in 3 minutes, he made over $400 in people giving him money. Just straight up giving him money, right? Him not selling anything, but just like, hey, $10 here. Hey, that's a nice shirt that you're wearing. $20 here. Oh, what happened with your like sister or whatever the other day? Oh, $50 here, etc., etc., etc. Right? Like, I thought that was like the craziest thing that I've ever seen. It's like, wait a minute, this dude who was probably like in his like low 20s just made a few $100 in a couple minutes, basically doing nothing. It was the craziest thing that I've ever seen. I was like, wow. If you like kept like the person like was streaming for like I think like 4 hours or something, he could have potentially have made thousands upon thousands of dollars in those 4 hours in that one day. To me, that is so crazy. Like imagine making that type of money just streaming something that you were already going to be doing. Very interesting. Which, by the way, I would actually stream my commentary on this, but my internet is just absolutely garbage.